Okay, so here we are, the first session, and I'm not starting with something easy, but I am starting with something that you all need to be able to do, balancing chemical equations. Okay, some people have done this before and they absolutely hated it. Some people have done it before and it was kind of okay. Balancing chemical equations is one of those, you either love it or you hate it. I personally love it just because I've practiced it and now I'm good at it. I never used to be good at it. Practice makes perfect. So on the screen, you should be able to see a title and a learn objective. If you want to do that in your exercise book, you are very welcome to do so. This is a pre-recording, obviously, so you can pause it at any time you like and even send it back if you want to go over something that I might have said a little bit too quickly for you to catch the first time round. So when balancing chemical equations, some people can do it quite quickly, automatically in their heads. Some people, like me, have to either draw it out or make little lists of what chemicals that are there. So the task that you can see on the screen right now, it's got a chemical equation, but kind of drawn out as a diagram instead. What we need to do is make sure there's the same number of coloured circles on each side of the equation. Now, hopefully you can see in this representation quite easily that these chemicals are actually bonded together. So the on the left-hand side there, the carbon with the hydrogens, they're actually attached there by a chemical bond. Now, depending on where you're at in your GCSE, you might know this to be a pair of electrons. You might know this just to be a stick. You might not even know what this is at all. Don't worry about that. All we need to know is that the carbons and the hydrogens there are attached. So that would actually have a formula CH4. So what I'm going to do to kind of help explain this a little bit better, I'm going to get up my doodle pad so you can see how I tackle one of these. So from this picture, there's quite a few things that are easy to see straight away. On the left-hand side, a little equation. So the left-hand side is called the reactants. On the left-hand side, to the left of this dotted line here, there are 1 black blobs, 4 white blobs, and 2 red ones. On the right-hand side, there's 1 black blob, 3 red blobs, and 2 white blobs. What we need to do is we need to get the same number of coloured blobs on each side of the equation. So because each side of the equation has a black blob, great, that's fine. We don't want to mess around with the black blobs. However, on the right-hand side, there's 3 lots of red, but on the left-hand side, there's only 2. So what I'm going to do is I can't necessarily change this molecule itself. I can't just generically put another blob of oxygen there, because this oxygen is not contained in this equation. So just to randomly add another oxygen is very naughty of me. I can't do that. What I can do is add another one of a molecule that's already there. So I'm going to add another molecule of water. So here we go, sketched underneath, not particularly well at all. There we are, I've got another molecule of water, which has now magically appeared as a much neater version. So on the right hand side now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 blobs of oxygen, so 4 red blobs. I've now accidentally got 1, 2, 3, 4 white blobs, but look, on the left hand side I've also got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I wasn't actually meaning to balance the hydrogens, but I accidentally have. Good times. So I've matched my number of hydrogens and I've matched my number of carbons. Let's see if I can match the number of oxygens. On the right-hand side, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 red blocks. On the left-hand side, there's only 2. So what I'm going to do is just draw another one of the oxygen molecule. So big circle there, and through the magic of editing, Pachow! Now we've got another beautiful molecule there. So on the left-hand side, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks of red. 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks of red. 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks of white. 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks of white. 1 of black, 1 of black. That is a balanced chemical equation. Now, that's doing it very visually, which if you're new to this, that might be a really nice way of you getting used to it. What we do have to do is convert this into a chemical formula. So there we go. I've just neatened up the screen a bit so there's enough room at the bottom for me to be able to write. So this first one is called methane. Its chemical formula, there's a capital C and there's capital H's in that molecule. They are attached, so I'm going to put the letters next to each other. But please be aware, if they're capital letters, that means that they are their own element. So carbon with 4 hydrogens attached, so I'm going to put a 4 at the bottom there for that hydrogen. That 4 just applies to one element directly to the left of it. So for the oxygens, I've got a capital O for the oxygen. Here, the 2 oxygens are attached together. So to show that they're attached together, I'm going to put a little 2 at the bottom there. However, there are a total of 2 of those molecules, but they're not attached together. So if they're attached, you give it a little number. If they're not attached, you give it a big number. So because there's 2 of them, I'm going to put a great big 2 there to show that there's 2 lots of each of those blocks of oxygen. On the right-hand side, I've got carbon and oxygen. There's 1, 2 red blocks of oxygen there, so that's CO2, where the 2 just applies to the oxygen. And I've got hydrogen with oxygen attached. Each oxygen has got 2 hydrogens attached, so I'm going to put a 2 there. Don't forget the 2 goes directly to the one to the left. There's only 2 lots of hydrogen. But there's 2 blocks of water overall. They're not attached, so it's a big number. So there we go. That would be a big number there. So there we go. At the bottom of the screen there is the overall symbol equation that is balanced for that chemical reaction. Now, if you want to have a go at some of those using visual clues, here is a worksheet that you can have a go at. Bye!